If you're that depressed, reach out to someone. And remember, suicide is a permanent solution to temporary problems.
Robin Williams made everyone laugh, but behind the scenes, something was very, very wrong. On the Mrs. Doubtfire set, Sally Field saw him do something so strange that it stopped her cold. This wasn't acting. It was real and very raw. What did Robin reveal when the camera stopped rolling? And why did Sally say she could never forget it? Was this the moment his pain slipped through the mask? Join us as we find out Sally Field's point of view about Robin Williams's behavior on set. The first encounter. Sally Field walked onto the Mrs. Doubtfire set for the first time in 1993, her script perfectly memorized, her character notes organized in neat folders. She's built her career on preparation and precision. Every line studied, every emotion mapped out ahead of time. There she met Robin Williams. He bounced around the set like electricity in human form. His Scottish accent shifts mid-sentence into a British butler, then slides into a perfect imitation of the director. The crew stopped working just to watch him perform impromptu shows between takes. This wasn't the controlled environment Sally knew. Safe to say, it was beautiful chaos. Director Chris Columbus has already warned the cast about Robin's process. 3 takes by the script, then the real magic begins. Sally thought she understood what this meant until the cameras started rolling. The first scene they filmed together took place in the kitchen. Sally delivered her lines exactly as written, hitting every emotional beat she practiced. Robin follows the script too, playing Daniel Hillard as the desperate father the story needs. Everything felt normal and professional. Then Robin asks for another take. The second time through, small changes began to creep in. Robin added a hand gesture here and changed his timing there. Sally adjusted naturally, her actress instincts kicking in. She's worked with improvisers before. It still felt manageable. The third take matched the script again. Sally relaxes, thinking they've captured what they need. The scene wraps, and everyone moves to reset for the next setup. But Robin wasn't finished. He approached Chris Columbus with that mischievous spark in his eyes. The director nods and calls for the cameras to keep rolling. That was when Sally discovered what working with Robin Williams really means. The fourth took off with life. Robin transformed before her eyes, his voice morphing into accents she had never heard him use. He invented a new backstory for his character on the spot, weaved in references that made the crew burst into laughter, and somehow kept the scene's emotional core completely intact. Sally found herself in uncharted territory. Her carefully planned reactions no longer fit. The emotions she prepared didn't match what Robin threw at her. For a split second, panic flickered across her face. Then something unexpected happened. Instead of fighting the chaos, Sally let it wash over her. She stopped trying to control the scene and started responding to the moment. Her reactions became raw and real because they had to be. Robin's unpredictability forced her to be completely present. The crew watched in silence as these two completely different approaches to acting created something neither could have achieved alone. Robin's wild creativity met Sally's emotional honesty. His spontaneity crashed into her steady professionalism. The collision created sparks. Take after take, they found their rhythm. Robin pushed boundaries while Sally held the emotional center. He flew high while she kept them grounded. Neither fought the other's style. They danced with it instead. By the end of that first day, Sally realized she had experienced something new. Robin hadn't just been showing off or stealing scenes. He had been searching for truth in every moment, refusing to settle for anything that felt fake or forced. His method had looked like madness, but there was a deep purpose underneath. The set buzzed with energy she had never felt before. Robin's presence changed everyone around him. The cameramen stayed alert because they never knew what he would do next. The sound team kept extra microphones ready. Even the craft services table became a stage when Robin decided to perform for the catering staff. Sally watched all of this unfold and saw something the world didn't know about Robin Williams. Behind every joke and character voice lived someone who cared desperately about getting things right. He worked harder than anyone else, pushing every scene until it felt completely alive. This wasn't the meeting of two actors. This was the beginning of something deeper. Sally recognized a kindred spirit who loved the craft as much as she did, even though they practiced it in completely different ways. Their friendship started there, in those moments of creative collision, built on respect for each other's gifts and wonder at how differently they saw the same story. Robin's three-take system seemed simple enough, but what Sally discovered between those takes would redefine everything she knew about acting. Spontaneous collaboration. On most Hollywood sets, actors stick to the script. Directors call action. Everyone delivers their lines, and the scene moves forward like clockwork. Robin Williams had turned that entire system upside down, and somehow made it work better than anyone had thought possible. Sally learned his rhythm quickly. Takes 1 through 3 belonged to the script. Robin hit his marks, delivered his lines exactly as written, and gave the director exactly what the story needed. He was professional, focused, and completely committed to the words on the page. The cameras kept rolling as Sally learned to respond in real time. Her reactions became more honest because they had to be. Robin's unpredictability forced her to stay completely present in every moment. She couldn't rely on rehearsed emotions when she didn't know what he would do next. Their scenes developed a unique energy. Robin flew high with his creativity, while Sally anchored them both to the emotional core of the story. He provided the spark while she kept the fire burning steadily. Neither tried to outshine the other. They lifted each other instead. Director Chris Columbus watched this magic unfold and made a crucial decision. He ordered multiple cameras to run simultaneously during Robin's improvisation sessions. He knew that trying to capture Robin's brilliance from just one angle would be impossible. The man created moments that could never be repeated the same way twice. Sally began to understand something profound about Robin's process. His 3 scripted takes weren't just warm-ups. They were his way of honoring the writer's vision before adding his creative layer. He respected the foundation before building something new on top of it. The set became electric with possibility. Everyone stayed more alert because Robin might turn any moment into something extraordinary. The sound engineers kept extra equipment ready. The lighting crew learned to adapt quickly to his movements. Even the craft services team became part of his impromptu performances. But Sally saw something deeper than the obvious chaos. She watched Robin work with the child actors and noticed how he adjusted his energy to match theirs. When they needed him to be calmer, he dialed it down. When they needed encouragement, he became their biggest cheerleader. His attention to everyone around him revealed a heart that truly cares about the work and the people creating it. Sally's respect for Robin grew with each passing day. She realized that his seemingly scattered approach required incredible discipline. It took enormous skill to improvise while keeping the story's emotional truth intact. Robin made it look effortless, but Sally saw the intense focus behind every spontaneous moment. Their working relationship became a masterclass in creative balance. Robin brought the lightning, while Sally provided the steady ground where it could safely strike. He offered inspiration while she gave foundation. Together they created scenes that felt both surprising and inevitable. This partnership taught Sally something new about her craft. She discovered that letting go of complete control didn't mean losing her professionalism. It meant finding new depths in her performances. Robin's wildness didn't diminish her preparation. It gave her preparation new life. By the end of filming, Sally understood that she had experienced something rare in Hollywood. She had found a creative partner who challenged her to be better while respecting exactly who she was. Their different approaches no longer clashed. They complemented each other perfectly. Their creative partnership was already special. But on one heartbreaking day, Sally discovered who Robin was when the cameras stopped rolling. The moment that defined their friendship. The call came while Sally was sitting in her trailer near the courthouse set. Her father had just passed away. The man who had raised her, who had suffered through years of declining health after his stroke, was gone. The grief hit her like a physical blow, but she was a professional. She had scenes to film. The crew was waiting. Sally tried to pull herself together. She checked her makeup in the mirror, took deep breaths, and walked toward the set. She told herself she could get through this. She had done it before, pushed through personal pain to deliver what the production needed. Acting had always been her refuge during difficult times, but grief didn't follow schedules. It sat heavy in her chest as she took her position for the courthouse scene. Her hands shook slightly as she ran through her lines one more time. The words felt foreign in her mouth, everything felt distant and unreal. Robin noticed immediately. He was in the middle of preparing for his scene when he saw Sally's face. Something about her posture, the way she held her shoulders, told him everything he needed to know. This wasn't nerves or fatigue. This was deeper pain trying to hide behind professionalism. Robin didn't hesitate. He walked directly to Sally, his usual energy completely gone. His voice became quiet and gentle as he asked if she was okay. The question broke through her careful composure. She told him the truth. Her father had just died. What happened next revealed the man behind all the characters and voices. Robin didn't offer empty condolences or awkward comfort. He saw exactly what Sally needed before she knew it herself. He immediately found director Chris Columbus. As the lead actor and co-producer, Robin influenced the daily schedule. He used every bit of that power to protect Sally. The conversation was brief but decisive. They needed to shoot around Sally for the rest of the day. Her scenes were moved. Other actors stepped in for different setups. The entire production shifted to accommodate one person's grief. This wasn't a small favor. Film schedules ran on tight budgets and tighter deadlines. Every change costs money and creates complications. But Robin didn't care about any of that. He saw a friend in pain, and nothing else mattered. Sally sat in stunned gratitude as the set transformed around her. Crew members quietly adjusted equipment for different scenes. Other actors prepared for shots that weren't supposed to happen until later. Everyone moved with purpose and understanding. Nobody complained or questioned the changes. Robin stayed close to Sally as she made arrangements to leave. He didn't try to cheer her up or distract her from the pain. He simply provided a steady presence while she called her family and figured out funeral plans. His famous energy became calm strength when she needed it most. The production worked around Sally's absence for days. Robin helped coordinate the scheduled changes, making sure she had whatever time she needed. He checked in with her regularly, not as a co-star, but as someone who genuinely cared about her well-being. When Sally returned to the set, something between them had changed forever. She had experienced Robin's kindness in its purest form, the kind that acted without thinking, that put human need above professional obligation. She had seen the heart that beat underneath all the comedy and creativity. Robin never made a big deal about what he had done. He didn't mention the schedule disruptions or the extra work his decision had created. To him, this wasn't heroic behavior. This was simply what you did for someone you cared about. His actions came from instinct, not calculation. The crew remembered that moment too. They had watched their lead actor use his position not for personal gain, but to protect a colleague's grief. Robin's choice set a tone on set that lasted through the rest of filming. Everyone became more aware of each other, more willing to support when support was needed. Sally carried this memory with her long after Mrs. Doubtfire wrapped. She had worked with many stars and seen how power was used in Hollywood. Robin had shown her something different: influence wielded with empathy, success shared through service to others. That single day taught Sally that Robin's greatest performance wasn't any character he played on screen. It was the way he showed up for real people in real moments of need. His compassion ran as deep as his talent, and both came from the same source, a heart that felt everything intensely and responded with love. He comforted her when she needed it most, but how did Robin treat those who didn't share the spotlight with him? A heart that saw everyone. What had truly set Robin Williams apart wasn't just his talent or his wild energy. It was his heart. Kindness had poured out of him constantly, not just when the cameras rolled, but every single day. Sally Field hadn't been the only one who had felt his gentle nature. Everyone on set had experienced it, from the lead actors to the assistants loading equipment, to the lighting crew working in the shadows. He had made time for everyone. He had remembered their names. He had asked about their families, their dreams, and their struggles. When someone looked tired, he noticed. When someone seemed down, he had found a way to lift them. He had treated every person like they mattered, never like background noise in his story. One crew member shared how Robin had spent his lunch breaks chatting with the grips and makeup artists. Not because he had to, but because he had wanted to. He would sit with them, laugh with them, and listen to their stories. He had this way of making people feel seen and important, even when they were used to being invisible. If someone had been having a rough day, Robin had found quiet ways to help them feel better. Sometimes it had been a joke perfectly timed to break the tension. Sometimes it had been a kind word whispered when no one else was listening. Sometimes he had just sat and listened, giving someone his full attention when they had needed it most. This compassion had stretched far beyond film sets. Robin co-founded Comic Relief USA, a charity that raised millions to help homeless families. Robin gave generously to literacy programs, veterans services, and organizations supporting people with disabilities. He was a star, but he used his spotlight to lift others. He didn't just talk about making the world better, he did the work. Sally Field spoke often about the impact Robin had on her life. Years later, she still felt his presence. She once said he should have been growing old alongside her. There was heartbreak in those words, but also deep recognition of who he truly was. A rare soul with a bright, compassionate light. Their friendship extended beyond one film. It was built on shared laughter and quiet moments of care. Sally often remembered the day Robin helped her leave the set after her father died. It wasn't a grand gesture. It was Robin simply being himself, sensitive, present, and protective. Others saw that side too. Behind his comic brilliance was a man who felt everything deeply. He could read a room, sense someone's pain, and offer comfort without a word. Many only saw the fast-talking characters, not the quiet empathy beneath them. Robin's humor made people laugh, but his kindness made them feel loved. That's what made him irreplaceable. He gave everyone around him such warmth and joy. But what darkness was growing in the quiet moments between takes? When the world stopped laughing. The early months of 2014 had felt different for Robin. His career, once unstoppable, had hit a wall. His recent TV show had been canceled after just one season. For someone who had spent decades entertaining millions, this felt like more than just a job ending. It felt like a door closing, one he had always trusted would stay open. At the same time, his personal life was in transition. He was adjusting to a new marriage while still carrying emotional scars from his second divorce. He was a man caught between chapters, trying to find peace, but feeling lost in the process. Then came the diagnosis that changed everything. In May 2014, doctors told Robin he had Parkinson's disease. For someone whose entire identity had been built on quick thinking, physical movement, and sharp wit, the idea of slowly losing those abilities was terrifying. He was already battling anxiety and depression, and this news made everything worse. His world felt like it was shrinking. But there was something even more heartbreaking hidden beneath the surface. After his death, an autopsy revealed the devastating truth. Robin hadn't been suffering from Parkinson's at all. He had Lewy body dementia, a rare and aggressive brain disorder that affects thinking, memory, movement, and behavior. It caused severe depression, paranoia, confusion, and hallucinations. The symptoms came and went, making it nearly impossible to understand what was happening, even for doctors. Robin had no idea what was happening inside his brain. He was trying to make sense of a storm without knowing the cause. Those closest to him watched as the lively, sharp-witted man they knew became anxious and withdrawn. His memory sometimes failed him. His hands shook. He became fearful of losing control over his mind. For someone who had always relied on being spontaneous and in the moment, these symptoms felt like the ultimate betrayal. And yet, he rarely spoke of his pain. To the public, he still smiled. He still cracked jokes. But behind that smile was a man fighting a silent and confusing battle. Robin's decline was rapid. He tried to keep working, to stay active, to keep hope alive. But the illness was relentless. He began to isolate himself more, unsure of how to ask for help, or even what kind of help he needed. The man who had once lit up every room he entered began to disappear behind a fog of sadness and confusion. On August 11th, 2014, the world stopped. Robin Williams was gone, having taken his own life in his California home. The outpouring of grief was immediate and global. Fans, friends, and colleagues mourned the loss of a man who had brought so much joy to their lives. The tributes came from everywhere. Christopher Reeve's family shared how Robin had disguised himself as a Russian doctor after Reeve's accident, barging into his hospital room to perform a mock exam. It had been the first time Reeve had laughed since becoming paralyzed. That moment had given him hope when he needed it most. Billy Crystal's voice cracked at the Emmy Awards as he said Robin had made people laugh hard every time they saw him. Whoopi Goldberg simply said it had felt like losing a part of herself. Even President Obama issued a statement describing Robin as one of a kind, someone who had arrived as an alien but ended up touching every element of the human spirit. The grief extended far beyond Hollywood. Online platforms lit up with tributes from fans around the world. Strangers who had never met Robin felt the loss as if they had lost a dear friend. For many, he had been a comforting presence through life's ups and downs. His movies had been favorites on rainy days, his interviews had offered moments of pure honesty, and his comedy had brought light to even the darkest moods. Robin Williams left behind more than just films. He left behind a legacy of laughter, comfort, and unforgettable characters that continued to live in people's hearts. His voice as the genie still made children smile. His role in Mrs. Doubtfire still made families laugh and cry together. His words as Mr. Keating still inspired people to seize the day and find their voices. Even years later, fans continued to celebrate his work through online tributes, fan art, and movie marathons. For many, Robin Williams wasn't just remembered as a comedian. He was remembered as a friend, a teacher, and a light during dark times. His laughter lived on, but so did the lesson his life had taught, to look deeper and to check in with the people we love. What do you think made Robin Williams connect so deeply with people both on and off screen? How did Sally Field's experience with Robin change your perspective on true friendship in Hollywood? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.